at some point in the off season. Okay, you guys, you were here. I mean, we did it last week. We were inquisitive. We played the breaking news, and the modifieds are always something that we have that conversation all the time on here about how do we grow the modified count and so forth and so on, and what needs to happen. And then we see a post. And it was while I was out of state, Bobby was busy, and it's like, man, there's no time to react. So it comes up last week, and everybody's asking questions. We're like, we don't know. We didn't know anything about that. We didn't know anything about the new chassis. Oh, by the way, that guy's coming on as well. Give me 2 weeks. But all right, time to get some details. When you want to find out something, you tune into this program. Let's get some details right here. Let's welcome in our man, Jacob Hortch. You know the name. I mean, you know the name, you know the face. When I figured out who it was, when my nosy ass finally figured out who it was, my word to him was, oh, man, I like this. I like this a lot. And Jacob, before we even get into details, I was stalking your racing page, and I saw a post on August 26th where you dropped the bait saying, what do we need to do to get more than 5 or 6 modifieds at these big shows? You were dropping that hint, man. Tell us how this all came together.
Yeah, thanks, Rodney, for having me on here. So pretty much this last year we've been going to Cotton Bowl, Texana, a little bit of I-37, and a lot of the same guys race with each other, and it's hit or miss whether we show up or not, or it's been a long time coming of, hey, we've got 6-8 modified showing up, and what do we do? What can we do to get us all together at the same tracks? Because everyone wants to run modifieds every weekend, and they split us all up, and there's nothing we can do about it. So I reached out to Marianne and some of the guys at the other tracks and was like, hey, just throw it out there. What can we do? And they're like, oh, well, someone wants to bring us an idea. We're welcome to listen to it.
That's always the answer.
All right, well, I'll do it. And I got with Jim Stannard at IMCA, and I was like, hey, what do you suggest we do? And he was on board with, hey, let's, you can try to do a series, whether it's a partial season or a full season. And the tracks were down to do a full season of racing for modified. So we'll hit I-37, Cotton Bowl, Texana, South Texas Race Ranch, and hopefully 105. Mainly I-37, Cotton Bowl, and Texana, but all the southern tracks that you've got, I think we already have 16 drivers that are committed to running. So hopefully everyone shows up and we're able to put on some decent shows.
Nice.
So, Jacob, you're not going to be the first guy that's gone from racer to promoter. I've experienced firsthand helping with the old limited modified series when we switched to asphalt. How much of that racer mentality is it the racer mentality that's going to come first, where you're going to look at what's good for the racer is good for the series? Is that the main goal right now, or is it more about we need to get more cars at more tracks to get a higher purse? What's the more important goal right
I'm pretty much, I was just the one that kind of came up with the idea and kind of set things in motion. Actually, Branson Pittman, who's been running the late model series, he's going to be the kind of the promoter on this. I was just the one that put it all together and kind of made it happen. And I'll be kind of 50-50. I don't want to touch any of the politics or the money or anything like that. It was just like, hey, if you want to get something done, you gotta do it yourself. And that's what we did. So I won't be necessarily making all the decisions. Everything on the track's going to be him, and the tracks, I'm just going to be there to race and to have fun. I just wanted to find something to support the class. So that's what we did.
Jacob, I think one of the most important things that you did, because, there's always attempts and people do a great job, building things. But I think the fact that you went to IMCA, because I think it's truly imperative. They have to be a part of this. I mean, especially with the big mods and the stock cars, they have to be a part of it, I think.
Yeah. When I talked to Jim, I kind of picked his brain a little bit, and he was saying that as long as it was 100% IMCA and that all the tracks were on board, that they'd support it. And it was one of those things where people were like, hey, what if you allow, different shock rules or a weight penalty? And it was like, I'm not messing with it. It's IMCA rules. That's what we got around here. If you want to go run toms, you can, but for mainly the guys around here, all we have is IMCA, and that's what the tracks will bring. So that's what.
So how's it going to work? Is it going to be point sanctioned, or how's it going to work like that for points? National points, regional points? How's it going to work? Do you know by now?
Yeah, so it'll all be IMCA sanctioned. So we'll still be able to compete, just like if you were to travel from Cotton Bowl one weekend to I-37 the next. It's just pretty much following a schedule that the tracks we all came up, and we're still working on the schedule, but it'll be to where IMCA, the series pays for the sanctioning, so you get all your points, and no one really has to worry about that. And then we'll have an added like point season bonus for running the series. We'll get sponsors. I think we already have one that'll help pay for the sanctioning fees, and another one that is going to start off the season bonus. So it'll be, all the bonus will go back to the drivers instead of whatever the track set it up.
That's awesome, man. And we always ask the modified guys when we get them on here, and obviously money is we were just talking to Robbie Starnes there about late models and all that. Money is the big evil in this that fucks everything up, that fucks up our fun here.
Yeah.
But for the modifieds, I mean, a lot of it I think has been factory stock and so forth. The explosion of that right there. In your opinion, what's happened? I mean, because truly those are so fun to watch. I mean, the modifieds, man, it's truly that is the top tier. I mean, no offense to the other ones, man, but how has it just gotten to the point where we can't get full fields?
I think back when they split up originally and they made it to where it was, you've got your B mods and your USMTS and IMCA and TOMS, and they made so many different classes and so many rules. And we had our USMTS car, which is the car I drive now, sitting on the rack for like 4 years. But it was like, we don't really want to travel 5 hours to go race, and it's hard to do that. But we ended up getting our car switched over, and the issue I think with the factory stocks is that they're easy. They're you can go rub and go race hard and enjoy and go have a heck of a lot of fun, and go to O'Reilly's on the weekend and switch out your parts if you need to, and it is what it is. But with modified, that's a little different.
Yeah, no doubt.
So tearing up stuff, and it costs some money to replace it, that's for sure. But with bringing them all together and bringing them back, hopefully we can get to where the series grows and people get more invested into it, and we get bigger sponsors, and we can start having those 5,000 to win or 10,000 win modifieds. But even in that, it's I think some of the issue with the pay is that you have those 5,000 to win races, and it's 5,000 to win, and then it's 1,000 for second, 500 for third, and you end up having guys that are finished sixth and spend 3 days racing to get $80,
Yeah.
And that's where in the season, in the series, we tried to talking to the tracks, split it up, having a guaranteed purse where there's not much difference. You win, it's X amount, and then it's drop $100, and it's, everyone, I think we decided that everyone, that if you showed up and you made the feature, it was $75, which that just pays for your pit passes and, fuel to race. So
yeah,
that helps.
That's awesome.
But I've always been a fan of the 10% rule when it comes to a purse, where your last place position pays 10% of what it pays to win, because it kind of balances out a little bit. So if you got $1,000 purse or $1,000 to win, $100 for the finish dead last kind of works in the middle there.
Yeah,
that's what we tried with the limited modifieds on asphalt. It was about, for a 24 car field, it was about right at 6,000, 5,500 to 6,000. To do it that way. But it worked though, because Robbie Starnes said the same thing that you're saying, is that it's one thing to have a big purse to win, but it's another thing when it just drops off incrementally. If you finish third, and win a couple $100, I mean, that's the difference between coming back another week versus keeping it on the trailer at the shop. You know, that's huge. So I think you guys are on the right track in terms of making it more of a tiered down purse to make it more sustainable for the racers.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, with splitting it up, you know, it also helps with the travel. You know, if you're driving, we're normally driving 2.5, 3 hours to just Cotton Bowl and I-37, and because we're in the Houston area, they're out there, and you know, it costs money to drive out there, and it's one of those things where, you know, we go out and okay, something breaks, and you drive 3.5 hours back home, and you know, you got $50, and it's like, well, that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But
well, so I got to tell you though, I mean, I like the 105 down to, you know, down into 37. I mean, all that way. I mean, I like that. I mean, I really like the way that lays out. I mean, that's going to be a very cool setup. So what's the consensus on guys that maybe have stepped away from modifieds to do factory stock or something else? Is there any idea, have these guys sold their big mods, or they just have them up on a rack, or you have any idea on some of those dudes?
Yeah, just to name a few, Phil Dixon, Jeff Hogue, Dalton Knox, Buster Dean, Jamie McGreen. Those are just 5 guys there that live within 20 minutes of me, that all still have modified sitting on the shelf. That it's one of those things where they don't feel like they want to go out and race 6 cars, and you know, it's easier for them to keep it on the shelf than it is to go race. So there's definitely modifieds that are still out there that are ready to come back, that need a few little last pieces, and hopefully we can, as we travel, we can bring a bigger crowd and get some of those guys excited about it again.
No doubt.
So what do you guys think in an average car count? You think 12 cars in the beginning, 10? I mean, I know it's hard to project.
I think we're gonna Owen is gonna have us run with the sprint cars at the beginning of the season. So that'll be kind of our opening. Hey, running down to South Texas and run with the sprint cars and see how many we can bring out there to be like, hey, here we are. Let's put on a good show. And I really don't know what the car count will be. I know I-37's been having, 10, 15 cars, Cotton Bowl, 8, 10 cars. Same thing with Texana. And then South Texas Race Ranch, they haven't had many, but I think combined together we should have 15 to 20 cars in hopes.
Yeah, you might be able to even pull some of the Waco guys. I mean, if the
Waco, Kennedale, all those guys that they may swing down and come run with us, but they're more northern, and it was once we start adding too many tracks, then no one wants to run just 3 races a modified year.
Defeats the purpose. Best way for folks, I mean, because I think this is something to where people are going to realize this is a real thing, and that's why I wanted to give you the chance to get on here, because I know every time something like this happens, they're like, oh, here we go again, blah blah blah. But best way for folks to get a hold of, if it's not going to be you, if they want to be a part of this, I mean, whether driver, sponsor, contingency sponsor, whatever the hell, best avenue at this point to get. And Mark's going to be here quick.
So right now, it'd be the Stims Facebook page. It's got we made a little logo. Garrett Gregory hooked us up with that, and we've been kind of updating that as we go. We made a Facebook page and a group as well. We're trying to keep the group limited to more drivers and crew. That way we can try to concentrate, on what's important and not really worry about all the drama. But yeah, the Facebook page is open to anyone and everyone, and that's the best way to get a hold of us, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking like good stuff, man. I'm excited. Long time overdue, man. I think this is going to work, dude. Good job, man. Excited.
Yes, thank you.
Let us know how to help, man. That's what we're here for, brother.
I will. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Roddy.
You got it, man. Take care.
Yes, sir. Bye.
You bet. There he goes. All right, man. There, Bobby. See, everyone there was wondering what it was all about. Sounds Sounds pretty legit to me, dude. And you know what's impressive right here is that we've seen other times to where, and where folks want to do something, and ain't nobody on this show ever going to fault anyone for wanting to try to do something, because I mean it's good intentions. It's all the, I mean it takes a lot. It takes a lot, but it sounds like to me, what has happened right here is they went in and they did a lot of the, what happens a lot is, okay, I'm going to do this, and then they have, then they do the work. Then they start reaching out to drivers. Then they start reaching out to figure out purses and all that. Sounds like they've done this the right way. They did all that shit first, it seems like.
Yeah, it seems like they did a lot of research. Well, racers will talk to racers about anything, right? Except when it comes to trade secrets. I mean, and kind of another way to put it is all the racers want the same thing to a certain extent when it comes to the purse, when it comes to, kind of a schedule. Everybody knows, they're all going to want the same thing, right? So, I mean, I think that you take that into consideration, that narrows it down to a certain extent. To a way that makes it more manageable, and a way to open it up to more guys that just have the stuff sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, and that was the main question. That's why I wanted to ask him right there. It was because you never know. I mean, I know a lot of guys. I think I saw Raymond McSpadden post that he still has his, but now he's got other cars because same reason. And that's the one thing. I mean, I know Waco's not included in this, but that's the frustration that Waco has had for the last couple of years, is that you're paying a really good person and you're only getting 6 or 7. I mean, it's 6 or 7 good cars. The racing is good, but I mean, I like what they're doing right here. And here's the common element, or the common factor, denominator, as they say, that we're finding out tonight. It seems like what is so important, and it's really a no-brainer, is the buy down of the purse, not the buy down, but the pay down of the purse. How important that is. But again, that takes a lot of money. But we have seen races where you top heavy first, and then the other guys don't get a lot, and that's going to chase them away, because one dude's going to win. One dude's going to win, and for the rest of the guys, especially when you're traveling. But that right there, I mean, like I was saying right there, you kind of picture Texas. I mean, from 105 all the way, kind of hitting all the spots, and then finally getting yourself down to Corpus. That's pretty swift, man. I like that. I like that a lot.
I think the 105 date is key, or dates at 105, because there's so many Houston racers that travel.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of dirt racers in Houston. They now kind of found a home at 105. But some of these guys with IMCA stock cars and some of the sanctioning classes that they don't sanction there at 105, they don't have anywhere to race.
Yeah.
When they race 5 cars, right? I mean, when the Houston guys come to Texana, unfortunately, the car count's not there for the modifieds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So, I mean, Eastside Hot Rod stepped up to sponsor a purse in the cars at Texana, but yep. I mean, they were on the risk of the endangered species list and was going to get dropped. And, they got together, got a sponsor, but still only managed 5 to 6 cars a race.
Yep, that's exactly right. Exactly right. Hey, speaking of, because what we're talking about tonight is badass race cars. We're talking about dirt late models, and we're talking about modifieds. Badass race cars, the place to get them.